Well, I am so excited to be here. I'm here with Carly Jurgensen Daniel. She is the Guild President-elect for Completely Kids. Carly, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I love this organization and I'm thrilled to talk about it.
So let's talk a little bit about Completely Kids just in general, if you don't mind, because you're the Guild President-elect. Completely Kids, who do they serve?
Completely Kids serves over 2,000 kids in the Omaha Metro whose families are working to break the cycle of poverty. So all areas of the metro area, but that's really the kind of the crux of the families they serve.
Yeah. And this, okay. And so Night in the Neighborhood is a big event that's coming out that the Guild puts on. So tell us about that. First of all, what's the date?
The date is Friday, October 15th. It's a casual event. So, you hear about fundraisers and you might think sit down dinner, formal program. There's none of that. It's basically an open house where people from the community are invited to Completely Kids at the location. So that's why it's called Night in the Neighborhood, to see the space where everything happens, where the after school programs and the teen programs happen, where the food is packed that is sent home with kids on the weekends. And it's a casual and incredibly fun event that raises money for this really amazing organization that serves so many kids in our community and then their families. And I think we'll have, anywhere between 300 and 400 guests. We will make sure that we have any COVID policies in place to keep everyone safe. And the great thing about being in the space at Completely Kids is we'll be upstairs, we'll be downstairs, there's room to roam. We won't all be packed into one room. So that's a great thing for, our current situation.
Yeah, for people, for people who are concerned. And I mean, I love that. I mean, I think all nonprofit organizations right now really have to think about the social distancing and what it requires, but also you're here to raise funds and you're also here to engage people to give to your organization. And Completely Kids, I mean, I love Completely Kids. And they just do so much for the community around where they are. Because the location, where are they at? What's the
20th Ave or it's 25th and St. Mary's Ave.
Okay. Yep. And they just do so many for folks in that area, but also so beyond that as well. So
and the thing to think about is, we say serving the children, but these are children who become adults in our community.
Yes.
So it goes far beyond the immediate needs of these children and their parents. When you help a child, you help that child's parents as well.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Okay. If you don't, you can come down, you can participate Night in the Neighborhood, but what if you can't get down there that night? Can people contribute to you beyond that?
Absolutely. We have an online component for our event, including our silent auction and an opportunity to participate in the raffle. And so pretty much anything you can do at the event, you can do online. And if you're one of our sponsors, we'll also have a food component for you as well. And certainly that night, if you can't participate, there are other opportunities to support the organization with your volunteer time, other days or evenings. And so there really is some way for everyone to participate.
Yeah. So what does a sponsorship mean? Or is that like a VIP ticket, or what does that mean?
We have sponsorships at all different price points, and essentially they include a certain amount of tickets to the event, early access to the silent auction, VIP bar access if you're at the event, and of course, advertising and print, website, social media, spreading the word about your business or organization.
Which is always, I mean, I always encourage all businesses to look at sponsoring these types of events, whether you're a small business or a large corporation, because it really impacts so many kids and the organization itself. But then you can like spread the love through your employees. So that's just the great thing about that too.
Buy a sponsorship package and you have 10 tickets. You can decide whether you want those to go to personal friends or if you want to just offer them to employees. So, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I'm looking at my notes here. Okay. So first, how do you reserve tickets?
Visit completelykids.org. And on the events tab, you'll see the Night in the Neighborhood event listed, and it'll take you right to a space where you can decide if you want an individual ticket, which is $100, or we have discounted tickets at $75 for young professionals, 30 and under, or you can participate as a sponsor on that link as well.
Okay. And as the guild board president, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to kind of switch gears. How important is, I mean, what is joining a guild all about? Because I mean, I've been on many guilds and I love it, but I think a lot of people don't know what being a part of a guild means. So
yes, this is honestly my first experience being on a guild, and what I find it to be is a well-oiled community service machine. So if you have any sort of inkling to give back on a big level in your community, a guild is the way to do it.
Yeah. And with you being the guild president-elect, so when does your presidency officiate, if that makes sense?
January of 2022.
Okay. And again, I know the Guild for Completely Kids, I mean, they really are the fundraising arm for the organization. In addition to the other programs that Completely Kids has, but the Guild really, I mean, they're a driving force, and they are a group of women and men that make things happen for this organization. So
yes,
encourage people watching this to look into that. And
absolutely, it's not too late if you have any interest in joining our guild for next year to let us know.
Yeah. Okay, so lastly, and we might have answered this question, are there any other opportunities to support Night in the Neighborhood? Again, we kind of talked about that a little bit. If you can't be there in person, but you can hop on the website, and there's lots of ways to support Completely Kids.
Yeah, if you aren't able to participate that evening, again, try the online option. And if you can't do either of those things, then you can volunteer at the agency another time. They pack food for these children every Friday, and they prepare and actually pack the food earlier in the week. So there are volunteer opportunities at the agency to do something like that, either as an individual with a couple friends or with employees, several times throughout the year. And what happened last year during the height of the pandemic was they packed food to go home with families on multiple days during the week, and then cars would drive up to pick up the bags. And so they needed volunteers for a wide range of services during that time. But I will say, this event is going to be so fun. If you can come to the live event, I mean, tequila tasting, DJ, silent auction, raffle, 3 great raffle packages, a VIP bar, and then of course, valet and an open bar for everyone else. So there's something for everybody. It's gonna be great.
And I love about this event too, it's casual. You don't need to dress up. You don't need to do black tie. Those events are awesome, but it's just a like Night in the Neighborhood, just to come out and just be a part of this amazing event and support Completely Kids. So
I will say there are a lot of people in the community who I think don't know what Completely Kids is. And so in addition to the fundraising component, one of the Guild's goals in the coming years is really just community awareness and spreading the word about this amazing organization. There are so many guilds to be on, so many fundraising opportunities in Omaha, which is incredible. But this is truly an organization that has immediate impact on children and families right here in Omaha.
Yeah.
So it means a lot to me personally, and I think that it will be a fun event, and it's a great way to introduce the organization to friends and spread the word about this amazing cause.
Yeah. Carly, thank you so much for joining me today to talk about this. I'm looking forward to it. I will be there on October 15th, which is a Friday.
Yes, it's a Friday night.
Okay, October 15th. Friday night. So great to see you. And again, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for chatting. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And folks, we'll be right back. Well, hello, my friends. I am so happy and excited to be here with Julie Shrader, a good friend, known her for so many years. She is the founder, the director, executive director of Rejuvenating Women. Julie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me, Andy. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, so what year is this for? I just want to talk about Rejuvenating Women.
Yeah.
Take us back.
I started this in 2012, so we're in our 9th year of Rejuvenating Women, which is, wow, we're hitting the 10-year mark, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing. And feel really blessed that we've gotten as far as we have doing what we do. And now we're looking ahead, and we're talking about bigger, better things and how we can expand. And so we're not slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah. So what gave you the idea to start this? I mean, because you are you're the person that started this.
Yeah. A lot of it had to do with my own things in life.
Sure.
I grew up fatherless and grew up in a home that was challenging, and I felt that I was never good enough for anything. All through school, all through my life, really, I felt like I wasn't good enough. And I'd compare myself to others and be like, well, I'm not like her. Boy, I wish I could be like her, but I'll never be like that. Well, no, I realized later in life that God made me who I am. Yeah. And he made me different, and he made me just like everybody else. Nobody's the same. And I didn't know that, and I didn't realize that, but it's been through a lot of struggles, being homeless, living out of a car, and then living out of wherever I could find a place to live, drinking, alcoholic, going through, I was sexually abused. A lot of factors came into play in my life. Yeah. And I overcame them only because of my relationship with the Lord. And if it wasn't for that, I don't know where I'd be today. So I believe that it was that my heart really isn't to push that on people. My heart is if I can come from a really deep, dark place, so can you. And I can come back from that, and so can you. And I know it's possible. I know it's possible for everybody, no matter what they've been through.
Yes.
That stirred that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, like you said, in 2012, you had this vision, rejuvenating women, that really has a specific mission to help women in sex trafficking, situations. And this isn't just a local thing. I mean, this is a national thing, and potentially a global thing, that you're dealing with these women in these different ways, because just me knowing you. So talk a little bit about that and how, yeah.
It is a global issue. It is a local issue. It's a national issue. It's an issue all over the place. Like, there's not a single city, town,
Right.
state, area that is immune. Every place is, I mean, it's possible everywhere.
Yeah.
There are a few things that we've learned even in the last year that are a little different. Like, we've learned a couple different, I wouldn't say learned a couple different types of trafficking. I guess we didn't think about the types of trafficking that there could be. But there's a trafficking that we learned about through our partner, Operation Underground Railroad, and they came across a mission that where there is trafficking now of fertilized eggs. Well, and I think it's been that way. It's just, I guess we never thought that deep into trafficking, that, they were even surprised. So it's trafficking, it's paying for someone to get their eggs fertilized, right? And it's paying for that. And then that person sells those eggs to a trafficker, and then the trafficker implants them. And there's, I hate to use the word baby factory.
Yeah.
But where they will actually, traffickers will force women to have babies for selling. And I could go into a whole thing on where they get sold to, but I won't get into that today.
Yeah. But yeah, again, like, you have this vision to create rejuvenated women. And then one of the things that's coming up too is what supports your mission and supports the help in the women that are dealing with, being trafficked. Because, well, I guess one of the reasons I kind of brought up the Omaha area, I mean, you bring a lot of women in that don't live in the Omaha area because they need a safe place to stay. Right. And you have an amazing building, but I think you might be building even a bigger building, but you just opened up a new, you had a new building.
We have, and what happened was that Operation Underground Railroad paid a home building company or business, Sago Homes out of Utah. And they drove here and they expanded our building and made it so that we can do 2 groups at the same time, 2 counseling sessions at the same time. So we're not, we can more individualize for the women in our program.
Sure.
And we are completely full in our program right now, pretty much. I mean, we've got room for probably one more, and then we're full, because we've had so many people call and want to place individuals throughout the United States. Yeah. And then, I hope that answers your question.
Well, but that does.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
Because you do so much more. You're not like a local organization that people around the United States actually reach out to you and say, hey, we have a girl here that needs a safe place to stay and needs to kind of go, needs help. Yeah. And you are that safe place and that kind of rehabilitation place. I don't like to use that word necessarily, but we're there for them.
Right. We have, there's no one from Omaha in our house right now. Yeah. They've all been sent from different states, different organizations, and the human trafficking hotline will also call us as well with referrals. Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to thank you for that. So let's move on to the gala that's coming up on September 16th. This is your, what year? Is this your 7th?
Your 7th year. Oh my gosh.
I know.
And it's so great what this gala does. I mean, last year it was a little, funky.
Different. Yes.
But you actually had people at the gala, but then you had a lot of people online. So, but talk about this year's gala and what can
Yes.
we expect?
So we have our partners, Operation Underground Railroad, coming to talk about the rescue efforts globally. In which I'm proud to say I'm going to be going on some missions with them, doing aftercare across the globe, which is fantastic, something I've wanted to do for a long time. And they'll be talking about that and why our restorative home is so very important for individuals who've been trafficked, even in other countries. And so they'll be doing also a Q&A. So it'll be a little bit different setup. We have, it's a little different this year. It's actually, I think I'm really excited about how we're doing it. And as far as right now, I know we're getting full, but we're not maxed yet.
Right.
So, we're 3 weeks out. So I know that we could potentially sell out. Our goal is to get 700 people there. So we'll see what happens. But it's going to be amazing. And we're really, really going to highlight the need for housing. We've done a new video, of course, and Operation Underground. They're going to show a couple of videos, and Tim Ballard's going to try to make it if he can, but he's back on mission, and so he could get called out at any moment. And so he hasn't really been doing speaking engagements as often because he can get called out at any moment. So, so I have Jessica Mass, who's the vice president of aftercare, and then we have Matt Osborne, who is the vice president of operations for Operation Underground Railroad, and they're fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, every year I've been to this event so many times, and it's always, oh my gosh, it's so impactful. And you walk away just, first of all, having a caring from your heart. There's something that just kind of breaks your heart down, and you realize that this is an important issue to contribute funds to.
Right.
And also you just, it's just a beautiful experience. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
For this year. Do you have an online component this year? Or
we do. We're going to do, we're doing virtual again. So it's a hybrid event. Last year was such a hit. That we still wanted to give options for people, still weren't comfortable even, and we have the new variants, whatever, all that going around. So if people aren't comfortable, they can certainly buy a virtual ticket, which I believe I think it's $45.
Yeah.
And so it will log them on for the time the event starts. So they kind of miss all the other stuff that isn't, important online anyway. But they'll get to the meat of the program, which is all the speakers and things. So that'll be great to be able to do that both ways and offer that. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Julie, I just want to thank you so much. I just admire you. You're such an inspiration. I mean, you're also a good friend. And I look forward to, doing another walking meeting together.
But I know. I missed that actually. I know.
I do too.
Yeah.
But again, September 16th, Restored Wings Gala, beautifully broken. Everybody just, attend if you can. And then also you have the virtual availability. So
there's no reason nobody can come unless they're out of town on a plane or something.
Yep. Then they can still come, and they probably can still donate regardless of where you're at.
Exactly.
All right, Julie, thank you so much for joining me today. It's so great to see you, my friend.
I appreciate it. You too, hon. Thanks.